The clerk?
Go ahead, I'll keep trying.
Okay. I call this city commission meeting of the city of Pahokee, regular commission meeting of Monday, January the 10th, 2022, to order at 4:01 p.m. May we please stand for the invocation provided by Commissioner Claire Mervin.
Let us pray. Father God, in the name of Jesus, God, I want to thank and praise you, God, for another day, God, and another year, God, you have brought us over. God, we give your name the praise, the honor, and the glory, God, because if it had not been for you, God, we would not be here. So, God, I give you thanks and I give you praise. God, we're here today, God, to gather together to handle the city, the business of the city. God, we ask you for your guidance and your wisdom, oh God. God, that we can lead your people, oh God, and lead them correctly, oh God, in righteous way, God. Bless us, I pray, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bab,
Present.
Vice Mayor Bowman,
Here.
Commissioner Gonzalez, Commissioner Mervin,
Present.
Commissioner Perez, City Manager,
Present.
City Attorney, City Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, staff. And thank each of our residents and our listening audience for being here this afternoon to participate in our regular scheduled commission meeting. Hope everyone had a great Christmas and a very prosperous New Year and continued blessings. We're going to move straight along with our agenda. First, we'll do the additions, deletions, and approval of the agenda items. City Manager, at this time, do we have any additions?
No additions, just a recommendation to allow the Centennial Committee to present first.
In addition to that, we want to allow and have our Pahokee Middle Senior High School proclamation put up next after the Centennial presentation.
Mayor Bab, point of order, if we can all rearrange that the other way, because we know some of them just address that they have other, with the school, they have other meetings going on that they have to get to. So we can put the school first and then the Centennial.
That'd be fine.
That'd be okay.
I'll entertain a motion to that
Wait,
effect.
Mr. Mayor. I make a motion that we take off of recall election status off of new business.
Okay. Is there a second to do that? Hearing none, we will have that item remain. I think that's very important to have at least a status of the recall since the process has been put in place. We hadn't had any updates whatsoever, so I'm not sure why you would even want to remove that.
Because it's in the court right now being decided, so I don't believe we should be discussing it in open meeting.
Whatever information we have on it, I think it should be shared. That's something that you want to be
I'm sure you
transparent
would.
with the public.
Thank you.
And that's something we need to do. Okay, with those, there is no addition, but there is an arrangement in our agenda. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Entertain a motion. I'm going to say call for
Commissioner
questions.
Perez.
I'm sorry. Any questions? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote?
Hold on, I didn't get the motion in a second. Give me a second. Commissioner Perez? Yes. Okay. Who motioned?
Who motioned?
I didn't get the motion in a second.
Did you second?
I didn't hear what you said.
She's asking who motioned. I think it was Commissioner
I was motioning to
Mervin.
move it around.
Did we get a second on that?
Oh.
I'll move for a second on it. So we have a motion by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by the mayor for the agenda to be as presented with the rearrangement of the items that's going to be discussed. First, we'll have the Centennial
School.
The school.
The school, Pahokee Miller Senior High School proclamation. Then after that, we'll have the Centennial, and then we'll follow the remaining as printed. Hearing no question, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Someone second?
I second.
Okay, go ahead. Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Mayor Bab,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Boland,
No,
Commissioner Gonzalez.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Came in late.
Well,
Just reorganizing the agenda so they get to speak and
So
and get on their way.
Pahokee,
All right. What are we changing?
okay, we're moving the Pahokee High School, Miller School proclamation.
I'm sorry, is that, yes. I changed mine to yes, I was paying,
oh, okay.
I didn't realize that's what we were doing.
Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you.
We're moving the proclamation for Pahokee Miller Senior High School up to the top of the agenda and having the Centennial presentation following that. And after that, the items on the agenda as they are printed will be following those particular orders.
Okay. Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Luana,
yes.
okay, that's to move proclamation for the Pahokee High School and then to continue with the agenda as it is.
Is to move the proclamation for Pahokee High School and the discussion for the Centennial up to the beginning of the meeting.
And then the Centennial second.
Okay.
Yes, or Commissioner,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move and follow our agenda. The first item on the agenda will be now the proclamation for Pahokee Miller Senior High School. And just to give you just a quick background, just quickly, Pahokee Miller Senior High School, we're here to recognize and honor their principal and their entire staff, the students, their parents, and everyone who's associated with the success they have made this year. They have a 99.0% graduation rate. And not only that, they have made Glades regional history by having an upward trend for the last 5 years.
Wow.
In 2017, they had a 92.2% graduation rate. In 2018, they had a 95.3% graduation rate. In 2019, they had a 95.5% graduation rate. In 2020, they had a 98.3%. And when we thought that couldn't be topped, this year, they have a 99.0%.
Congratulations.
And at this time, we'll have our city attorney read it into the minutes for us.
Mayor, this is a proclamation recognizing Pahokee Middle High School class of 2021. Whereas the unprecedented pandemic resulted in Palm Beach County School District's teachers and students adapting to distance learning and online instruction. And whereas Pahokee High class of 2021 seniors were asked to forego prom, senior activities, team sports, and missed out on important rites of passage and milestones they had looked forward to. And whereas Pahokee class of 2021 seniors were making tremendous sacrifices, not just for their own health and safety, but for the greater good. And whereas on January 4th, 2022, the Florida Department of Education released high school graduation rates for the state of Florida and the school district of Palm Beach County. And whereas congratulations are in order for Principal Denard, Pahokee Middle High School staff, and the class of 2021. They made Glades region history with a 5-year upward trend in their graduation rate. From 2017, as the mayor previously indicated, of 92.2 2018, 95.3, 2019, 95.5, 2020, 98.3, and this year, 99%. Whereas the graduation rate for the class of 2021 was 99%, and a special congratulations to those seniors and parents for the class of 2021. Now therefore, be it resolved on behalf of the City Commission and the citizens of Pahokee that by virtue of the authority vested in the Mayor of Pahokee, he does hereby extend the entire city's congratulations to the Pahokee Middle High School class of 2021.
At this time, we will request that the commission join me down on the floor and have the Pahokee High School Principal Bernard, school board rep, all the staff that's here, so we can present this proclamation on behalf of the city commission and entire city community. And afterward, we'll have Mr. Bernard, Ms. Andrews, and whoever you want to designate to say a few words on behalf of the school.
And Mayor, we also is recognized, we have the Tri-City Education President and the Vice, Ms. Evans and Coach Rowe. We can please ask them also to come up.
Thank you.
And Dr. McTeer. Yes. And Mr. Wright.
The whole entire group, please, we don't want to miss anyone. You're all instrumental in this.
One step back.
Mr. Denard, on behalf of the Pahokee City Commission, Vice Mayor Regina Bolden, Commissioner Claire Burton, Commissioner Warren Gonzalez, Commissioner Sarah Perez, and myself as mayor, along with our city manager, Greg Thompson, and our entire city staff and our entire community. We would like to present you with this proclamation for the outstanding achievement of Pahokee Middle Senior High School. Your dedication with you and your staff, the hard work that you all are doing is making an impact, not only on your school, but on this entire community. When we go out to recruit businesses to come in, one of the first questions they ask is, how are your schools and your medical facilities and things along those lines? So we are proud to be able to say we have an excellent school, and we're making sure that our students are ready to enter into the workforce and be productive. So again, on behalf of this commission, it gives me great honor and privilege to present this particular proclamation to the school.
Thank you so much. One, two, three.
That's how you did it.
Okay, I'd like to say thank you on behalf of my faculty, staff, and our students, and the hard work that they do. I was told not to talk long and not call people out because my APs, they threaten me. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows it's not easy. Our kids don't make it easy on us, and the parents don't make it easy on us. But when they come to our school, we try to be the best parent to every single one of our students. And they all have different type of backgrounds. They all have different type of obstacles. But we know now when our kids walk across that stage, that when our kids go to college or vocational or the military, our kids don't come back home right then and there. They're going to finish and they're going to be able to get the degrees and whatever they want and then come back home to help change the community. We also got an award called Great Schools. That means that kids are going to college and staying in college. We were one of the top schools for that. So it's all on behalf from Ms. Slidell and Mr. T with the foundation at the middle school, where it's really the real headache is at, to Mr. Lawson and Dr. Goffin, making sure that our kids stay on track. Dr. Goffin pulled them in the office to make sure that they all graduate. And Ms. Cochran, Ms. Hasagawa, Ms. Martin, it's just so many that does so much. Our teachers, Ms. Harper Cowell and Ms. Bryant, and over that does so much, and they really work hard for our students. And I'm just proud to be their principal, and I'm blessed to be their principal. Thank you so much.
I hope everybody realizes what kind of team it takes with great leadership to
Yes, it
accomplish
does.
this year after year, especially through this last year and a half through COVID.
Yeah.
The work stands for itself.
And good afternoon to the mayor, Mayor Babb, Vice Mayor Bolden, the commissioners, city manager, attorney, and staff. I bring you greetings from our superintendent, Mr. Mike Burke. You know, you just saw him in your Pahokee Christmas holiday parade. He is so excited today to tell you, Pahokee, the city of Pahokee, your high school, your elementary schools, your Canal Point elementary schools, they're at the top academically across Palm Beach County. Nice. We want to thank you because it takes the village. And I want to thank the city of Pahokee, the mayor and the team here for supporting Pahokee Middle Senior High School, Pahokee Elementary School, Catherine E. Cunningham Canal Point Elementary School. These schools are at the top academically across Palm Beach County. And as I thank you and congratulate our superstar principal, Mr. Dwayne Denard, let's give him another hand. And the entire Pahokee team, I want to tell you, I spent quite a bit of time in Pahokee because your principal, Denard, has all kinds of programs going on at Pahokee Middle Senior High School. I'm already getting ready to take the city manager and the attorney and anybody that wants to come and see the wonderful academic programs that we have at your IB school, Pahokee Middle Senior High School. I want to thank all of the teachers who make it happen because it starts in the classroom, and we've been in a pandemic for the last couple of years. We're still in it, but to get every kid graduated, 99%. We only missed one. And that meant Mr. Denard and his team went out into the community to make sure those students who were suffering knew that there was hope to come back to school, to learn, to do their very, very best. And when you look at schools across Palm Beach County, very few had 100% and 99%. So you're in the top tier, Pahokee Middle Senior High School. And I want to say to the parents, you work together with the school. So it takes the village. The parents, the students, the school, all of us working together. And Superintendent Mike Burke wants you to know that he really appreciates your support. And I'm just excited here to touch this proclamation, Mr. Mayor and team here, that you bestowed upon the school. And congratulations for everything that you do every day for our boys and girls who are our future for success. It's happening at Pahokee Middle Senior High School, all of our schools in the Pahokee region, and it really is because of the leadership right here in the city, the parents, and the community. Thank you so very much.
Just in closing, I would just like to announce only one school in Palm Beach County had 100% graduation rate. Pahokee was tied with 3 others that had 99. And I would just like to encourage you, if you haven't had an opportunity to look at their website, it has so many accomplishments this school have made over the year and past years. So just look at it. You'll be overwhelmed with the success that they're having. And we just want them to know that this commission, as well as our community, appreciate your efforts and everything that you all are doing. Thank you. Next, we're going to move to the next agenda item, which is the Centennial Celebration presentation. Thank you again. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Wallace, the chair for the Centennial Committee. And we had our meeting, and Mr. Thompson, thank you for dropping in. I think Ms. Mervin, also Commissioner Mervin was at that meeting. I'm not sure if Ms. Boland made that one, but she has been at other meetings with the Centennial Committee along with both Mr. Gonzalez. We met, and we are excited about what the team is doing to move forward in this 100-year celebration in the city of Pahokee. We did send out a letter to all the commissioners with the resolution, with a letter to be sent to potential sponsors, a sponsorship application, and a timeline of events that we hope to materialize as we celebrate this 100 years. And we still need your help in identifying those donors. We need your help in disseminating the letters to other commissioners in other cities that you may have friends that would like to come help us celebrate, making sure that we invite not only our county but state officials to be a part of such a historical moment. It only happened once in a lifetime. We also have an appeal for more funding. We don't know what donors are going to give to us, but we do know that this is our city, and we have to be the first partakers of making things work for us. So therefore, I know that Mr. Thompson has told us that it doubled from the $5,000 originally allocated to $10,000. I can tell you now that won't be enough to do what we have planned to celebrate the citizens of Pahokee. They are all we got. Our football team used that a lot. We all we got. Pahokee is all we got. It's the commissioners who have the power to allow this to be the best and greatest celebration in history. And we are depending on you. If you check your email, you'll see a timeline of events, and we've done work hard to include all of our residents, from the schools to the community, to community groups and other businesses in our community. And we're starting with our t-shirt contest that should be in the works now with our schools. The t-shirt being designed by the students will be a contest. The one selected will be the one that we use, and that person will get a gift on the day of our celebration. They will be announced at the gala, but awarded at the actual celebration. The gala is scheduled for February the 12th. Now, the gala, we're asking that everyone, the registration is $100. That's not what you're paying for the meal. We can't pay for the meal. So they want to know what they're going to eat for $100. It's not about what you're going to eat. It's about the fellowship and the support. And it's one of the fundraisers built inside of the Centennial to help support the Centennial. So the monies that we raised for the gala will go toward the bill for the total Centennial. We're asking each commissioner to purchase at least 2 to 3 tickets or sponsor a table. A table sponsorship is $1,000, $100 a ticket. We have asked for the parade to be on March the 4th. On March the 5th, there will be a unity breakfast sponsored and fellowship sponsored by Glades, the Healthier Glades, and Mr. Mathis, who's with United First, is that United Church? First United Methodist Church. And we are grateful to them for opening up their doors. We will practice social distancing with that, and we're going to try to honor our senior people at that event. That's where we'll recognize those that are still here that are at least 100 or older. And we had some, I know a couple, and we pray that they're still with us. We also were trying to do the antique bike show, car and bike show on the 20th of March, and a fishing tournament that morning of the major event. So that will go to try to get our men and boys and our people that love the outdoors world with fishing to get them involved. We have teams that's going to be doing our marketing, entertaining, and decorating, and we have people involved, volunteers from all parts of our community. We're asking all our businesses to take part. So we pray that you read over the letter, to approve it so we can start sending it out to the donors. Ask you to do the same, that we compile a list, that we don't duplicate what we're doing. Because if you're going to be doing, Mr. Thompson going to do some corporate sponsorship letters, the same letter, but we want to be able to send these to different people so there won't be a double letter going to the same person asking for a different amount. That's the report of the Centennial Committee, and we are also going to join forces with Mrs. Mervin and that team that's doing the MLK, so that at that event we'll have a Centennial registration set up to try to get people that have not heard about it, to get that word out. We've invited all the churches, community groups, social groups to take part and just set up a table just to give away free things. And CYCI, who adopted the park, will be giving away free toys to the children who come that day. So different components will be setting up. That ends my report, and I pray to hear a good response for additional funds to support this event. Are there any questions?
How many seats per table at the gala?
We're trying to keep it at 8, really, so it won't be too crowded, no more than 8.
Okay.
That's fine. Did you send us a copy of the letter?
Yes, I did. Actually, I
probably
said it 3 times because someone said they could not open it one way, so I sent it in Word and PDF. The clerk should also have it. A couple of emails I didn't have, but I sent it to the clerk so she could make sure all the commissioners got it.
Okay.
Any
If I
other
may.
questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
What about local vendors who have food trucks around the Tri-Cities?
Yes.
Are they invited for free,
Yes,
or are they going to
yes,
be charged?
Yes, yes, and we don't have all of their contact information, but we are seeking them out so that they could be invited both to MLK, so they can get a taste of what
Right.
is available in our city, and then for the Centennial. We're hoping that the vendors that show up for MLK, which is a free event,
Okay.
just to get our people out and to help strengthen the economy, that they will register then for the Centennial.
Okay, so it's going to be free for the vendors? Or
I'm
not?
going
Not
to
for the
talk with Mr.
Centennial,
Thompson
no.
about that.
Okay.
It
For the-
depends
for
on
the-
what they need.
For the MLK, yes.
we
MLK
have
it
to-
is, yes.
It's free for them, okay?
Not
And,
for the Centennial, though.
okay, and for the Centennial, I'm talking with the Navy and Air Force to do a flyover. There's a package that you have to fill out and submit, and then they'll tell you yes or no, or who's going to do the flyover. So
Awesome.
I told them it's going to be for the 26th, if I'm correct.
That's right.
Between
March
8 a.m.,
26th will be
8
our
p.m.?
Centennial Day of Celebration.
Okay, so I'm just giving you the advance, no heads up on that, because I don't know what part of the committee that falls on, so.
Okay. That will go, that could be with the marketing and sponsorship.
For the what?
So marketing and sponsorship.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause they told me it's free of charge, so.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
And we actually.
Hey, we're dealing with the
actually,
government. They say it's free, so. You know.
Actually,
You never know.
A lot of the people that we've asked to come to do things, many of them are donating a lot of their services. We know everybody can't donate everything,
Right.
but they are either donating or cutting the prices tremendously to help this celebration be great.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like y'all put in a lot of work already.
Oh, yes.
By the look at that list.
Yes.
I look forward to new things coming up and getting to work
But
on it.
everyone is really enjoying it. The thing is that now we're coming together as a unity as one. And they know the end price is to make sure that Pahokee have the best day, that we'll never see that day again. So we must give them the best.
Can
So-
you give them a contact information for the public, since it's on YouTube?
Okay.
If they want to buy the tickets for the gala?
For the gala, okay. They can email any member of the Centennial, but my email for this is pswministries@gmail.com, or you may reach me on 561-261-6220.
Oh, and also, if I may, before I forget, a couple of sponsors that I reached out to, they told me that to be specific how much you're asking for, so that way they'll know what to do. They can work with it. Instead of
$5,000.
When you see the letter, and one thing on the letter
At the
that Mr.
top.
Thompson brought to our attention was the way we were asking for donations. And the bottom line is this: there are levels of sponsorship, and what we're asking for your approval now to help us say, no, that's good, that's not too much, is the platinum at $5,000, They will have, we will do a virtual ad book, which is a flip book. They prepare us their ad, and we'll put it in the book, which will be disseminated to everybody. And a banner will be made for the $5,000, and they will get free T-shirts. The gold sponsorship is $2,500, and they also get the virtual advertisement and a free shirt. The silver sponsorship is $1,000, and the bronze is $250. They all get virtual advertisement. So they make them camera ready.
And up.
And up. So somebody may say, well, I give 5, or it don't matter. And then you're gonna have other people that will give more. And those persons that give less, but they wanna give something, we will put their name in on a page of patrons.
As soon as you get a flyer for that gala or any of those, get it to us as quick as you can, if you would.
We
can
would do
put it
that.
up.
We'll have all that ready by the end of the week.
I know we're still early, but have your committee had an opportunity to really look at the budget and see what would be the minimum amount that you could have a successful celebration, even in lieu of the contribution or donation you're trying to seek, the sponsorships? We're at 10,000 now. We just need to know what you feel would be a bottom line to really have a great celebration, so this commission could at least consider that amount and see where we can do to meet.
We're rocking somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000, because we're not asking our citizens to pay for this gala. This is our time to give back to our community. 100 years? I've been here 67. And I've been through a lot, and by then I'll have 68. And so for those who have been here longer than me, they've seen so much happen. And to be able to live long enough to see a centennial after going through these past 2 years of the COVID and being isolated from the world, we owe it to them to give what we can. We're trying to raise as much of those dollars as we can, but we're asking our city to be able to step in wherever we fall short.
Thanks, Mr. Thompson. Are those funds we received from the federal government, the 1.5, that first installment, are we able to use any of those funds for such a celebration?
I'll speak to you afterwards about in private.
Okay.
But this is my thoughts on the Centennial. And we put up initial budget. It's not really a budget, just a contribution. I think it'd be in the city's best interest. Let's do our fundraising. There's a need. Let's do our fundraising. And then as we need to fill in the gaps or expand, we can do that in the future. I think it would be productive if we did it now. Donors may not believe that there's a need for it if we already funded and have the money up front. Let's do what we do, and let's get some money raised and go from there. Don't think that's all that's it. We're here to make this happen and do it right.
All we want to know is that you will support us at the end when there's not enough money, that you will make that commitment to bridge the gap between what the people and donors are able to do and what we actually deliver as the final product.
Is the 30 to 50, is that plus the 10 that we already donated, or
That's
is that with the 10?
That's with the 10.
With the 10.
And that's depending on the quality of what you really want. And I don't think y'all want us to go cheap.
What about the pioneers that were connected when Flagler first came out here? Remember we talked about 2 years ago?
Say it again.
Ms. Boland? About 2 years ago, we discussed this and researched that there was some kind of connection, if I'm correct, you can correct if I'm wrong, with Flagler and the city of Pahokee. Is there a way to reach out to Palm Beach, you know?
Well, certainly we are reaching out to the county officials and government officials, because there would be no West Palm Beach without us.
Exactly.
We are the bread and butter for our county. This agricultural land means more than they will ever know.
Right.
Fresh vegetables, the harvesting, the jobs. Well, you have to be coming home late in the evening when the traffic from the Glades is going back east,
Right.
to know the impact that this Glades area have on the residents of Palm Beach County. But they call us the other coast, but we are the heartbeat
They should call us the best coast.
Yes, we are the heartbeat of this county. We have the best access to the lake, and we want to flaunt all of that. We want them to see the best we have to offer, and that we can work together as a community, and we will produce a harvest, and we will turn this city around, and we will do it as a team.
Amen.
All right. Thank you so very much.
If I can say,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I see Margaret's got her hand up. I'm
Margaret?
sorry. Go ahead.
Hi.
Excuse me, but February 12th, what is going on on February 12th?
the gala.
Gala.
That's the gala.
And what time, that's at night?
Yes.
Okay, because Canal Point United Methodist Church is having its chili dinner at noon.
Oh, what kind of dinner?
Chili.
Chili. Oh, okay.
Their
Okay.
annual chili dinner that everybody has supported, and this
Okay.
is what we use for missions. And so when you said that February 12th, I thought, nothing's supposed to be in February.
So it'll be
It's
different
in the
times.
evening, and I'm sure they'll support the chili dinner. But between the time gap, they're gonna need a second
Ours
meal.
is from 11 to 2, so we're fine.
Okay.
What I would like to say is, for 100 years, $50,000 to me is nothing to put back into your city. Actually, that's not even, to me, even enough. You talking 100 years of a city that's coming together. So $50,000 to $100,000, just put there. Even whatever the sponsor give, that's just a blessing that they give. But the $50,000, I think we should even start it off with $50,000. That way you can at least know how to plan. And whatever, you don't have to tell the sponsor what you have in your bank, but at least I think we should at least have that. I think it's a rob to the city not to put $50,000 up front for a 100-year celebration for the city.
For the type of event we're really planning for the gala, and even for the citizens on that day, and the banners and everything we need to produce for those who make large contributions, it's gonna cost money. The gala especially, and making sure that we go by the CDC guidelines is very crucial as we move forward, praying that Omicron don't get any worse. But we're still going to move forward. And I agree with you. I think that's half of what a year. We're not talking $1,000 a year. Talk about $500 a year.
Exactly.
A year at $50,000.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while now, and hopefully our clerk will be able to now, since we have specific dates now,
Yes.
to send out some of those major sponsorship requests.
Yeah, we
for
just
the
been waiting on this
trips
letter.
to
We've been working
Sugar.
through this,
Yeah.
we've been working through this letter together.
Right.
Have you thought about maybe sending it to the University of Florida, since it is
We
agricultural?
send it to everybody y'all can think of.
Okay.
I mean, please, our list may not be as extensive of what you have opportunity. That's why every commissioner will have a copy of it. But we don't want to cross sending out with what the special donors that Mr. Thompson want to send out in hopes of getting better donations than the public.
That's why the Reverend's talking about,
We'll work
we
more on
need to
the local
compile a
groups.
list. Everybody has different relationships, knows different people, and they're each important, and we want to make sure we reach out to everybody we can, high and low.
Yeah,
Far
we're
and
trying to
wide.
make sure every church is represented, every sorority, fraternity, all groups, all the businesses, local businesses. That's their time to advertise their business also, and to be present, if they can be present at MLK and the Centennial. That will really show that we have something in our city. The food trucks, I've been going around tasting the different food trucks by supporting them to see if I want to testify to what they can offer, I want to be able to give a good report. You can't say, well, have you tried it, and you ain't tried it.
Right.
So I encourage you, if you have not eaten from any of the food trucks, take lunch with one of the food trucks in our city, so you'll know what you're offering to the guests. Thank you so very much for the time.
Thank you. And let the committee know
All right.
their work's important.
Thank you so much. You guys did an awesome.
That was mine.
So then we need to approve the letter tonight so it can get out to the community.
And take a few copies with us.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is,
Don't
thank
we
you.
need to
We need
approve
to
the
I'd like to
letter?
make a motion that we
Yeah.
approve the Centennial support letter.
Second.
So, second, sorry, that's it.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by Commissioner Vice Mayor Bowling that we approve the Centennial sponsorship letter. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bowling?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Perez?
Yes.
Mayor Bab?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioner. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to citizen comments, public service announcement. All items on the agenda, 3 minutes, please. City Clerk, at this time, do we have any comments card completed by anyone?
Yes, sir. Mr. Harry Folger?
Harry Folger, 997 Baker Point Road. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners,
evening.
Brandenburg, and Tawana Clerk, the clerk. I just want to make a brief comment. Having a vote there at the marina, and the city manager was gracious enough to give us residents a discount for the new rates, and I want to thank him for that. And I'm looking forward for that marina to grow, and I'm along with him. It's a source of income that we could really use in this city, not only in the campground but the marina. And I'm just looking forward to that restaurant opening as well. So I just want to thank you, Mr. Thompson, for your help, and Regina, if you had any conversations with him, I appreciate that too. So thank you.
Thank you. In addition, comments cards.
Mr. Richard Brown?
Richard Brown, 303 Carissa Drive, Boulder, Florida. I just would like to comment about the Christmas tree at the city. And I've been here 67 years, and I've never seen nothing like that, where the citizens had to come up and put Christmas decoration on the city tree. There was no ornament. I mean, it was sad. The parade was great. It was kind of disappointed to me that the mayor of our city was not in the front of the parade when we had someone running for election in the front of the mayor, and the mayor was in the back. But the Christmas tree and the decoration should not have been decorated by the citizens. I don't know what happened to the funds or what they did with the decoration. Maybe somebody can give me some clarification.
I'd like to address that, Mr. Chair. You're wrong all the way around. Again, I'll address the parade. The mayor was not in the back of the parade, and the vice mayor was not in the front of the parade.
Well,
Number one. I don't know what parade you were watching.
Okay, well,
Number two, the Christmas tree. The Christmas tree is about as old as you said you've seen it here in 60-something years. It's bent. It's horrible shape. We need a new one. I did my best to get one up. We had to bend it and straighten it up and put cables on it. The decorations that goes on the tree is about as old as this city, and most of them don't exist anymore. In the past, they've hired a company at the expense of the city to come decorate it. I'm told that takes notify that company 4 to 5 months outside of Christmas. None of that was attainable. Moving to the future, I hope we can have a new tree set up, bigger and better, and nicer than it has been. But everything was in a crunch this year. And I applaud the gentleman that set out the challenge to the community, because it wasn't that the community had to. A gentleman took a negative and turned it into a positive. And unfortunately, a few people are trying to twist it back into a negative for their purpose. He challenged the community to stop complaining, stop being negative, and do something, and come out as a community and decorate that tree. It turned into such a positive event. But unfortunately, a few of you are coming in here and twisting it back into a negative.
okay.
It was a positive event for this city, where the community took the opportunity to come together and put their differences aside and do something for this city. and you're up here criticizing what they did.
With that,
Shame on you.
With that being said, or the city had at least 10 months to prepare for the Christmas parade. Now, you said that the mayor.
The Christmas parade is not a city event.
The Christmas tree. I worked at the marina for 18 years, so I know we've had decoration, been there. So for it to be naked like that is a shame on the city. And second of all, what you said, the mayor of the city was behind the person running for mayor, and that's a fact. Because I've got the video, that's a fact, and that should not be. But that's fine though, I'm just saying, it's sad that when citizens got to come out and put decoration on the city tree.
I applaud those citizens that took part in that and turned it into a positive event for the community.
I'd like to comment, please, if I could. I think that what the citizens came out and did was absolutely beautiful. And Christmas trees are not about, in my opinion, about pretty decorations. It's more the sentiment. And I think that, as Mr. Thompson said, something that was not great turned into something very wonderful, and I wish I had not made arrangements to do something else that evening, or I would have been there. But I think that looking forward, as we look at next year, perhaps the city could purchase a new tree, and the citizens, each family, could bring out one ornament, and let's make it a Pahokee tree. Let's let everybody bring one ornament from their family and decorate our community tree.
But
I think that would be a wonderful thing.
I just want to say this with closing. Every city I've ever went to, citizens have not had to participate to decorate the city tree. This is the first, and I've been here this is the first time I've ever seen that. And anybody that know or have been to this city, they know this was the first time, and they know within their heart that it turned out great, but it was sad before it turned out great.
Well, one thing, if I want to comment.
And it's not that we didn't have the stuff to put on. We had the stuff to put on it and didn't. They don't exist anymore. You see there, I think there was one bulb hanging on that tree. We're going to fix that in the future. It's not going to happen again, but, you know, thank God somebody in the community reached out and said, put up or shut up. Stop complaining, let's come out and do something. And the community showed up, and what a great event. The tree looks good, and hopefully in the future they won't have to. It'll be their choice to show up. It won't be that they have to. And we're looking to fix that in the future.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yes, if I may say so, on my behalf, I can only speak for myself. I personally feel that we did drop the ball. I'll be honest with you. As a commission, we did drop the ball, my personal opinion. Not saying that they're saying, I'm saying this. Second is, like Ms. Bolden said, I think it was a great thing because it shows the community that we can work together and have a good time in doing events like this. So yes, I would agree a Christmas tree for the community to participate in would be a nice thing because we were all getting along. Everybody who was out there, Mervyn, Ms. Wallace, Mr. Crawford, everybody who was out there witnessed it for their own selves. Not one argument, not one fight, nothing negative. We all had fun, and it was fun. Thank you.
My comments, I would like to make a few. I agree 100% with Commissioner Gonzalez. We did absolutely drop the ball, and it was an embarrassment. And Mr. Thompson, you are the city manager, and the buck stops with you, and still accepting that responsibility, saying, you're right, and we will do better next year. You're making excuses why the tree was in the condition it was in. 2 ornaments. You could have went to Walmart and purchased a few and put up there. It was a disgrace.
You could have did the same thing, Mayor.
It was a disgrace.
You could have did the same thing.
You make $10,000, city manager,
you could
to
do the
run
same
the day-to-day operation. You accused me just a few days ago of interfering with day-to-day, and I'm not sure what that was about.
Do you want to go there?
Yes.
We'll go there.
What was the interference?
When I ask you to not do day-to-day interferences, you come into the city hall and ask HR to give you a report of who was working that day.
No, I didn't. I asked HR one question, to give me the name of the staff at City Hall so I would be able to put their names on Christmas cards that I had for them. It was about 6 staff. That took about 1.5 minutes to do. If you call that day-to-day, you got a problem with understanding the definition of day-to-day.
Ask-
As a mayor, I
also-
can speak with staff, I can get information. Day-to-day mean, if you got a person on the yard out there and you done instructed them what to do, and I come out saying, I don't want you to do that today, I want you to do this assignment today, that's interference.
How about-
And you were so vague on that.
How about you directing staff, public works staff, to load your truck full of turkeys that was donated by a donator for the public?
I asked you to be responsible for doing that.
You asked me how many turkeys do the commissioners get, and I told you one, just like every other employee. And then you went around the corner and told our staff to load your truck up full
That's
of
an absolute lie. That's an absolute lie.
How'd you get them?
I brought my
The
truck
turkeys was
next to
for the
truck.
senior citizens.
Who you think was partially responsible for even having the turkeys dropped off to these schools?
So you're entitled to more?
No, I'm not entitled to it. Every year, commissioners have been able to participate in the distribution of turkeys when they came in. Every year. I know you knew.
So you're entitled?
The turkeys wasn't for me. I'm not entitled to anything.
That's not what I said, sir. You instructed city staff to load your vehicle. Drop the work they were doing and to load your vehicle.
I'm gonna tell you.
You wanted me to define day-to-day. That'd be day-to-day.
That's a blunt lie what you're saying. You instructed the city staff to load the turkeys in my truck.
You are
I
wrong,
did.
sir.
Excuse me, Mayor, excuse me, excuse me. Let's just move on to the next agenda, please.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Get 'em moving.
No,
Please.
but that needs to get out, because that's a lie that's out
Yeah,
in the
you know that's a
community.
lie.
And it's not, you gotta put it out and put it on truth. The turkeys came to the city on behalf of the mayor, even instructed, we wasn't getting turkeys at all. From when we called, the city of Pahokee wasn't getting anything. The mayor talked to the guy from U.S. Sugar at the toy drive.
They would not like their name mentioned,
And
ma'am.
well, well, exactly, whatever.
His name Braylon
But-
Thomas.
Yeah, and they give every year anyway, but this the only year that they did not give any turkeys. On behalf of the mayor, went to him and he did donate turkeys to the city. That's how the turkeys came to the city. Since it was not enough to have a drive-through, they said, well, let's go ahead. And actually, that's how the city manager, he really didn't even know anything about the turkeys until the mayor really sent it and let him know. That's the truth part.
The mayor
So
never-
instead of
the mayor never called me,
trying to
ma'am.
say titled or anything, Mr. Thomas, you even gave me turkeys. I had 30 turkeys that I gave away to the seniors and stuff in my church. So it was not being titled. Each commission was able, if I'm not mistaken, that he called and asked about the turkeys. It was not enough just to have a drive-through for the community to come through. So the mayor took 15 turkeys just for the senior citizens in the community that he went around door to door and handed it to them.
Campaign.
Now, if you're going to complain about the mayor being entitled, saying about 15 turkeys that he gave to senior citizens, come on. That should not even be.
If I may,
that should not.
if I may,
let me just finish.
if I may clarify.
Let me just finish.
Let her finish.
Let me just finish. So when the turkeys came up on the marina, they was on a truck. They load them in my church, even including with Mr. Thompson, putting them in my church in the freezer. So if the public works help put them on from one truck to the other, that's not a problem. You helping the mayor put 15 turkeys in his truck to give out to the senior citizens. That should not even been a problem. That should not even been anything. It's not the turkeys that went into his home. He cooked them for his family. They were for senior citizens. They were for senior citizens. So I don't see where, and their public works helped all of us load stuff before, all of us. So to sit here and make that out of a big thing, I think it's very a disgrace now to what he did. He didn't take the turkeys and put them at his house. They went to the seniors that could not get out to get the turkeys. And they were appreciated for them.
If I may clarify, the
Ms.
conversation.
Johnson in the audience even say she received one.
Yeah.
My last
That's
turkey
great.
was given out at 8
Could we
o'clock.
leave the turkey alone,
Can I
just move on?
clarify?
Go ahead.
You want me to tell you what day to day? That's day to
But
day.
that's not day to day.
And I will
Mr.
clarify.
He's
I will-
that's not day-to-day.
I will
He's being
clarify-
sarcastic.
Can I clarify the turkey deal?
Manager, with all due respect.
I called Commissioner Mervin and asked her if her church would be willing. We've already had 2 turkey drives, okay? Drive-throughs. I wanted to make sure these turkeys got to the hardest hit individuals in this city. So I asked Commissioner Mervin if her church happen to know some needy families in the community they could help distribute. This was a very last-minute distribution, donation. I also gave, I think it was 7 cases to your church. I gave 7 cases to the Catholic Church, and I asked Public Works to drive around this city into the trailer parks, the most economically depressed neighborhoods in this city, and make sure they knocked on those doors to give the turkeys out to them. When the donor showed up with her truck, the mayor asked me, how many turkeys does the commissioners get? And I said 1, just like every other employee of the city, because the employees got 1 too. I took the donor around to the restaurant to show him our facility. He was amazed. When I come back around, you were backed up to a city vehicle, and they were loading those turkeys. That's a fact. That's not excuses. That's a fact.
Did you ask any of your employee that the mayor request or demand them to load turkeys into my truck?
Repeat that?
Did you ask any of the employees there after I left, did the mayor personally ask you to load those turkeys into his truck?
Did they take it upon themselves to do it?
Why would they do that?
I think the misunderstanding comes in when it's like how many turkeys should each commissioner get. Personally, is 1. That's correct. It was 1 personally for each commissioner. But the thing about it, and Virginia, you know, we done did this before. This is not the first year, Mr. Thompson, that we have loaded up our trucks, our cars, and took turkeys to the individuals in the community. I've done it. Bolin have done it. Everyone here in the past have taken turkeys to needed people that could not have gotten out in the community. So to make that a big deal now, I don't understand it. I understand you saying the 1 turkey per commissioner. We talking about a turkey. Come on. 1 turkey per, that's correct. 1 turkey per, let me just finish. 1 turkey per individual.
Day-to-day
but
operations.
the 15 turkeys, well, Virginia, you're in there signing checks. Come on, be for real. And you want to say about day-to-day for you want to say, because he's the mayor.
Who's been signing them for 6 years?
He's the mayor of the city.
I haven't been evicted from 2 residents, 2 senior residents, Mr. York and the Faye family.
Do you know anything about any
Yes,
of that?
yes, I got the court records on it.
Babs, Tasha.
Let's go to the meeting.
Can we get on with this meeting?
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about no turkeys. This is the first time.
We talking about a day-to-day operation of
turkey. I didn't get no turkey. I
don't want a turkey.
I'm sorry? Yeah, I'm trying to get some order, so can we just please move along?
Yeah, you talking about turkeys. Come on, man.
Thank you.
That's ridiculous.
We'll move on to the agenda. City Clerk, are there any additional comments for us completed?
Mr. Ernest McAllister.
Who? McAllister.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
How y'all doing? Turkey, talk about turkey. I don't want to hear about no turkey, man. I don't even eat turkey. And what I want to know is, what about Barfield Highway? When somebody gonna start working on that? It's been down, seems like to me a half a year. And ain't nobody working on it yet. I mean, I drive. I don't want my car in that mud when it rains. So can any of y'all tell me when y'all gonna start working on that road? And stop talking about turkeys.
Start. If you live on it, you know they've been working on it for quite a while.
Nah,
they've been parked for a while.
I don't see nobody working on that.
I have meetings once a week on it. Nothing's ever been stopped on that project. Never. Don't be spreading that. That project has never stopped. It's on time. It is a 395-day project. It don't happen overnight. It's a total reconstruction. That's reconstruction with sidewalks on both sides, stormwater, and it's going to...
Why did the people working on it, what happened to them?
I think he's talking about during the holidays they stopped.
One day.
One day.
There's different parts of the project. There's
Different parts, even one street. What other part of that?
Have you personally went out there, Mr. Thompson, to follow up to see if work is actually being done and at what rate it is being done? Or you just, you get out in the community?
Man,
What are you asking? If I've been to the project or I get out in the community? Which one?
Both.
Yes.
Have you ever been down right there with you?
Yes.
How would you like when you were in front of your house to be like that?
You live in Barfield or Rardon?
Either one of them.
But you just said Rardon.
Right there with you is working on, they was working on it. They completely quit 3 or 4 months ago. Right there with you, you can't ride down in because if you set a glass of water up there, it's gonna fall.
Barfield Highway, the work on Barfield Highway hasn't stopped but for one day, and that was because of Christmas.
I don't see nobody working on it.
Oh, you need to look a little harder because they're there every day.
Well, next time you over here, you come out of Cliffs and you ride down through that road.
I ride it almost every day.
You ride down through that road.
I have a progress meeting every Tuesday with the contractor, FDOT,
I'm not gonna argue with
and our
you.
project
I'm not
engineer. So
gonna-
I really don't know what you're talking about, that they haven't worked in 4 months, because that's not true. That's not true.
It's in months.
No, sir. You're wrong.
Everybody says something, they're wrong. Thank you.
I assure you, you are on this.
Thank you.
If you, I would like to meet you next week out there.
In addition to comments, Commission, Clerk.
Is there a scheduled completion date on that project? That may help.
I have the agreement in office. It's a 395-day project
And it started when?
before I got here.
It started in June. It started in June.
June 21? So by
It's like a 1.5-year project.
They're pouring the curbs, and they finished a major portion of the waterway there. They finished that. That's a large project. They got that out of the way, and they're moving themselves west.
maybe an update of the project and the projected date of completion progress report will help the citizens. Because I've been down there and seen nobody working. Now, I might have missed their working time, but I've been there.
See
Nobody
when
was there, but it don't mean that they didn't work earlier.
when the resurfacing ends, then the curbs come behind them. It's not the same people. They have different, and they don't want to resurface or grind the whole road because then the whole length will be dirt. So they want to do this portion, get it out of the way, and move on to the next. That way it accommodates some of the business owners and the homeowners, because the homeowners are getting new sidewalks, new curbs, and new driveways. And that takes some time.
I think if we give a monthly.
We need a regular report on our major projects. That's something I've been asking for, but we don't get them at this commission meeting. And not only verbal report,
if you'd pay attention to my report,
we need to have written reports.
I tell you, it's up
also.
to date. Every time we meeting, I have a progress meeting with the contractor.
What I'm
Florida
saying, this
Department of
commission,
Transportation.
you need to give the commission written
Like I said,
reports.
it's evident you don't pay attention because I do every time.
You give us written reports?
A written report? No,
Yes.
in my manager's report.
Every week.
We need written reports. That would be helpful.
Keep your ears out on my other report, you'll hear it.
In addition to comments, City Clerk.
No, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we move on to the next item on the agenda. We don't have any minutes to approve, no consent agenda items. On our regular agenda, we don't have any ordinance or public hearings. We do have two resolutions. First resolution, Resolution 2022-01, City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is Resolution 20-2201, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing the mayor's execution of an application to the Florida Department of Transportation for a permit for the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Parade.
Thank you. Normally, we just get a brief explanation from the city manager, but it's such self-explanatory. City Commission haven't had Resolution 2022-01 properly read into the minutes by our city attorney. What's your pleasure?
Mayor Bear, I would like to make a motion that we accept the resolution 2022-01, but there is some corrections that need to be made on there.
What is the
They've
correction?
already been updated.
Yeah, okay, but on the sheet here, it has 15. We want to make that 17. And the time is from 9 to 2 p.m.
From 9 to 2?
So we are going to do it on Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to talk about the route, Commissioner?
Yes, the route will be starting from, do we need to accept it first and then do, or we need to accept the resolution first and then do questions?
Is there a motion? You made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Mervin and properly second by Vice Mayor Bowling. Call for questions.
The route would be from starting at Shallow Missionary Baptist Church, coming up Rodden Avenue to Baker Point, and you make a right onto South Lake back into the park, Martin Luther King Park. That's the route for the parade, for the march.
So we go down South Lake to 5th Street and then turn into the park right there?
It's starting in front of Shallow Church.
Right.
Right there in front of Shallow Church, and come up Rodden. Just come right up, make the right up Rodden, and come all the way to Baker Point, make another right to South Lake, and left into the park.
Yeah, but I'm asking when you go down South Lake, where are you turning into the park? Are you turning in
Left.
right there at the park?
Yes.
The
that's
Park
Fifth
Street, MLK, 5th
Yes,
Street?
right
Okay.
there. Yes, right
Okay.
there.
And how do people get an application to be in the parade if they want to put
I
something
guess
in the
they-
parade?
Yeah, they did. I think we sent one to the city. That's why I think you sent
Is
one
it
to
on
the
the
city.
website, Ms.
So we're gonna
Warner?
see if I put one.
Is it somewhere where people can get it? or-
Flyers posted. I don't have
The posted flyer, but not the contact info.
Okay. The application was
There is an
also.
application and letter sent out to all the churches and to all of us, y'all should have it also, that they can apply to be in it, to let us know who's the responsible party and what they will be doing, whether they'll be in the march or set up a table, a giveaway table. But you should have a copy of it. I'll send another copy.
Yes, Commissioners, we was talking to Commissioner Mervin, want to make sure
Was it
it's
sent
open.
last week or today? Was it the one you sent today?
No, that one I just sent was the revised bigger one that, for everybody, that's the correct one you need to send out.
Okay.
I'll send a new copy of the,
So is there a cost to be in the parade or set up
No.
a table?
no.
No, it's all,
No cost.
We're
just,
hoping that that could be a platform where we can encourage registration for the Centennial as well.
And Commissioner Mervin wanted me to express to the community that it's for everybody.
Yes.
Whoever wants to participate, come on out. If you don't know who to contact me. We'll find out the right way to get you in contact with somebody you can get in the parade. I just want to give a shout out to the Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Mudridge. They're gracious enough to support us every time. They are providing an honor guard and some motor units. We're reaching out to the fire department, see if we can't get an engine in there. We want to be at a great parade for the community, and hopefully everybody comes out and supports it.
Yes. And like we said, it's for everyone in the community. We're trying to reach out to all vendors. Whatever you want to do, we'll set up a table, however you want to do it, just come out and just have a great time. We're trying to get every church in the community to participate, whether they want to march with a banner or whatever they want to do, just to make a great day for the MLK parade.
And to celebrate the day for what it is.
Exactly.
Juana,
Go ahead, Commissioner Perez.
who put the Martin Luther King parade? Who is it, the city? Is that a central organization? Who put that out? Who organizes it?
The city.
The city is putting this together with the help of the community also. It's a partnership.
Okay.
Commissioner Mervin's kind of taken the lead and been instrumental in putting this together. I've been working with her for about a week now, trying to do this last minute, but we want to do the best we can.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Bowling,
yes?
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Bab.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Commissioners. Motion passed by unanimous vote. Now we'll move to Resolution 2022-02. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, this is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pahokee, Florida, authorizing an amendment to the City of Pahokee's Park and Recreation Department fee schedule.
Thank you, Senator Attorney. City Manager, could you give us a brief explanation of Resolution 2022-02?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. This is a fee schedule. I've went to the directors for this one specifically, Director of Parks and Rec, and asked him to adjust the fees we charge for our facilities, and this is what he was able to come up with, and I'll let him come up and present it.
Good evening, everyone. Here in front of you, I think you guys should have it in the packet, the current fees and the proposed fees that we would like to change for Parks and Rec for rental facilities. So, and the new fees go along with some of what we looked at some of the other municipalities that are doing inside the cities, not so much Palm Beach County, but some of the other municipalities inside Palm Beach County. So these are the rates that go in there. It's about $75 an hour when it comes out to, on average. I think it's fair. It is a little bit of an increase, but you gotta understand, we do share that facility with a school, okay? It's very hard to clean, and we thank everybody who comes in and does their best to clean up that facility, but a lot of times, it falls on the employees or outside janitorial services to get that cleaned up. And it really hasn't been fair, in my opinion, that staff has to come in at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock at night or on Sunday mornings to clean this up. So some of these fees will help relegate that and help keep that facility up to date and clean. The old fees, for instance, the cafeteria is $250 to rent, and the deposit would be $250, and then the new proposed fee for residents would be $400. And when you rent the facility, we usually give you 4 hours plus an extra hour to either set up or break down at the end. So that's about $75 an hour it comes out to.
And just along with the building and zoning, those fees we addressed, a lot of these haven't been addressed in many, many, many years. So we addressed that, we got that out of the way. This one, in the future, we're going to be addressing garbage rates that hadn't been changed since 2009, and then the leases we have. So people talk about moving the city forward. This is what it takes to move the city forward. In the future, we hope to address these every few years and not every 20 years, so we can mitigate some of these steeper increases. We want to change it as they come. But these are some needed changes the city needs to make sure we're not out of pocket, and I recommend we move on.
Can I ask a couple of questions? Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm confused. What is it when it says commissioners and commissioners concession? What is that?
So you have Commissioners Park, the pavilion, and then you also have the concession stand.
Okay.
So that's what that's for.
Okay. And when you rent the park, you don't rent the concession, it's a separate thing, or you can rent the concession and not the park?
You can rent you can rent the concession, and you can excuse me, you can rent the pavilion separately, and you can also rent the concession separately. So it's 2 fees for each one.
Okay, so when they rent the pavilions in the park, there's what, 3 or 4 of them out there, I think?
Yeah.
Isn't there?
Yeah.
So do they get them all, or they get one, or how does it work?
Usually they get them all.
Okay.
For that fee.
Okay. And then the concession is that little building that has the tables out front?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Question.
Where's the concession at MLK?
They're same thing. There's where the bathrooms are at MLK, close to the baseball field. It's an old facility. We'll hope to get that kind of fixed up in the next year or two. There's a concession stand in there too.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, most people don't know it, but it has a sink and stuff like that.
Okay. And
it does need some work though, so I'm not gonna lie to you. So.
Yeah. The Marina North End, that's just the pavilions that are up there?
The pavilions on the north end of the park, closer towards the cul-de-sac. So.
Okay, but there's different size pavilions up there? Are they all rent for the same price? Okay. And senior room, cafeteria, no ticket sales.
Well, no, there's different fees for some of these. So like the big pavilion at Commissioners Park is $400, and then the Marina
I'm
Park is.
saying on the north end, the marina on the north end, there's a big one and there's small.
I just made it easy for me. I just said it was $100.
For the same.
Yeah.
Okay, and then one last question where it says cafeteria, no ticket sales.
Yeah.
Is there one where it's cafeteria with ticket
That's
sales?
something that we'll have to talk to you guys about. I believe there should be some type of fee or 10%.
We've discussed 10% at the door.
10%, say it again?
Of the door.
Of the door.
Plus the rental fee.
Okay.
That's with tickets.
Yeah, with tickets.
Permission to speak?
Are we going to put that on this list so they'll
Yeah,
know?
I'll put it on the list, yeah.
Now, if the Centennial does something like that,
Can I ask some questions? Because I used to rent both the cafeteria and a building, because this site is here because of me, and concern you for community improvement since 1993. Now, when we rented it, the $250, we also put a $250 deposit. As long as the person cleaned, they would get that $250 back. So you're saying that they're not cleaning and it takes more than $250 to clean it?
Yeah, that was gonna be my question, because this right here, the deposit.
All right, the timeline is really bad for our increase first. Secondly, if we get in a deposit plus the rental fee,
Is she a commissioner?
and that's to cover the cleaning of the building. So we cleaned after, we always mop, clean, done everything, because we wanted our $250 back. If someone chooses to say, well, I don't feel like cleaning, then that $250 goes to pay the persons who you contracted to be the cleaner for the event.
I agree.
So how are we having this burden fall on
Well,
your staff?
that's-
They
I
getting their deposit
can-
from the deposit?
I can give you an example.
First of all, if it falling on your staff, that shouldn't be because you got a deposit.
Mr. Pickney.
Can I ask a
Look the
question?
same way.
Mr. Pickney,
So the increase is.
on the
about-
deposit, are those
Excuse me.
refundable deposits? 'Cause it doesn't say refundable.
Yeah, all deposits, the deposit you get back. So deposit, 9 times out of 10, it goes back to the citizen.
Okay, so deposit plus the fee. Okay.
No, the fee don't go.
The-
back to your-
No,
Excuse
just
me.
deposit, just
but
deposit.
Excuse me.
the venue,
Can-
the venue alone calls for these prices.
Okay.
Cleaning is a separate issue, but the venue and the comparables around us,
My
it
question,
deserves it.
Mr. Pinckney, is when you take the deposit from them, you take it when they make the application? Okay. Do you all go over and do a walkthrough before you let them in and make sure that everything is clean and done? And then do you do the same walkthrough when it's finished?
We do, but other times, like when we have repasses, a lot of times families don't want to come in super early, so they come in as is, and we let them know, hey, this is what the facility looks like. The issue that we're really having is damages and stuff that we can't see during the thing. So if the toilet stopped up or backed up, and we have to call in somebody to do that, that costs money and time. And what people understand is, it has to be done, usually on a Saturday, okay? It has to be done before 8 a.m. on Monday morning. So if it costs us to call out a plumber or somebody at that time, the plumber costs more than $250 to do it.
And we don't have anyone assigned, like, say they have something on a Sunday, we don't have anyone assigned to do the walkthrough prior and the walkthrough,
We
going
do.
around flushing the toilets, making sure everything's clean?
We do it at the end of it. If it doesn't work and that person can't take care of it, then we still have to call somebody. Because at the end of the day, we're responsible for also that.
Right, but then we keep their $250,
We
correct?
keep the $250, but the $250 doesn't pay for a lot at the end of the day, to be honest with you.
And that's for damages and cleaning. But the fees for the rentals, just don't get distracted in any other stuff.
Oh, no, I'm just,
The
Yeah.
venues calls for it. It's
I'm good with that.
So question,
Yeah.
so question, like, I heard you say something about the hall at the marina, on the north side, which I thought.
This
was
debate's
considered
amongst
a public
commissioners.
hall. Are you saying you're gonna be charging for the use of that park?
So you come to me and say, hey, Mike, I would love to have a party for my family out here, kind of like a little gathering or whatever, and we would like to rent this out the whole day, then I rent out to you. But if no one comes to me, then it's a public park. But if you say,
If you want to reserve it
if
just
you
for
want to
you.
reserve it, then that's what the cost is. But if no one's out there, you can still go out there and use the park.
So you're saying that an individual can reserve the whole park. So no citizens.
A pavilion.
A pavilion.
A pavilion, not the whole park.
Mr. Pinckney?
Almost like every park. When you go to Belgrade, you go out there on every
Should
day
be
and
this
sit.
cross
But
discussion
if you want to
between the
do
audience
a
and us.
pavilion, like for a family reunion,
Yeah,
whatever,
but
you
this
have to
doing
rent
a
their
raise
pavilion.
increase, you should give them an opportunity to at least ask a question.
You know,
Yeah,
they have their
Debate.
I have a
pavilions
question.
that you do rent out their pavilions.
My thing is, I've never, in my lifetime, heard of something like that to the public park. Is this brand new?
This is, it's not, this is something that happens at every park that it happens. Now, what happens is we haven't had in the past enough staff currently to manage it where we can give that to everybody to the city.
So it's never happened here in Pahokee, what I'm saying. This is brand new.
Well, no, these fees, there's always been fees to rent out the pavilion. Yeah.
And people have rented the pavilion for the public park.
You
Can
know
y'all please
that
hold
you
on?
came in and
Miss,
bragged about it to me.
Commissioner Perez has something to say?
Commissioner Perez, you had the floor.
Yes, the citizens comments, or are we both?
There's debate amongst the commission right
I
now.
have,
We have to have a discussion with the citizens. We're supposed to.
thank you, I agree.
Motion and a second, and we're supposed to vote. Or open for questions, I'm on us.
Yeah.
Okay, cool,
As-
move forward.
I agree.
For the past 30 minutes.
Commissioner Perez, I agree to a certain extent, but when you have a significant increase and you got people from the general public here, it's just courtesy to allow them to ask a question or get an answer to a concern they may have. I
Okay.
mean, we get up here and,
I agree. I think that should have been out in the public, or somehow let everyone know and have it open for if they had any concerns or any questions.
Okay,
Then
so,
we go for vote, then we go for our decision. So it's something that
Can
the
call for vote.
citizens need to be involved. We need to do it in a way that they could be involved, not just the ones that are there, but everyone that wants to have input.
okay, I have one last question, Mr. Pinckney.
Yes.
You said on the Marina North End up at the pavilions that someone could rent those pavilions, or if somebody just goes out there, they don't have to rent them, is that correct? Okay, so what happens if, say, I come out to you and I say I want to rent 2 of the 4 pavilions, and then I get out there at such and such a time, and there's a family there, how does that work?
We usually, we go to that family, we politely ask them and say, hey,
Okay,
this is
so
in
the park
reserve.
guard would be the one
Yes.
that did that? Okay, I just want to make sure somebody would be there.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah.
that's the purpose of renting one, so you have,
Yeah.
it's yours. You can
Right.
go there and you know you can
Okay.
use it.
It'll be marked before people get there.
Yeah,
okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but I don't know how we're gonna fix it, the citizens can ask the questions after hearing a resolution, which we don't understand. The content of it, it has not been discussed until now. So it need to be a platform where that we'll know what it's all about. Because I have rented many of the facilities, and I have used many that require no renting.
But that's-
And this is the only way we can get an understanding.
That's what
of what's
citizens'
happening.
comments are for. If you read the
No, she's saying
agenda,
like
then
a
you
resolution
know.
is something where it should have
If I
public
come
comments
on
in
what
it.
I didn't
It
know
should.
was gonna happen. Y'all understand? The public comments are already done. I did not know the content of the resolution. I did not know that it was gonna
It's online.
make these kind of changes to what I enjoy in my city. So what I'm saying is, even if we're gonna rent the pavilions, they need to be a reserve sign put on in the morning.
Right.
So you
He
won't
just-
have
Yeah,
that.
that's
He just said that.
organization
He just said
of-
that.
That's what I just said.
of family going out there to do it.
Yes, ma'am, that's what I just said.
Y'all don't want the citizens to comment during your question and answer period.
Yeah.
Then we need to have more informed information on the resolution that says exactly what he is saying. So then, when I came in, if I saw that there was a price increase and we're paying now for something that we normally just go out to the park and enjoy, I could have submitted a comment card to talk about it.
Let's
No idea.
let's like the city attorney on ordinance and resolution. Don't the community or the citizen have an opportunity, or should have an opportunity to ask questions prior to the approval?
Yes, sir. On ordinances, they always have a public hearing, and on resolutions, the agenda is published, it's online. Everyone can look at it. Everyone, if they wanted to, could have looked at this resolution and the prices, then the increases before the meeting tonight. They could have submitted a card to talk on it. And the commission generally allows people to comment anyways during the middle of it.
Well, we got two commissioners questioning, having them have an opportunity to speak. But city clerk, was the fee schedule also posted
Yes,
along with
the
the
entire agenda packet is posted online since last week.
Yes.
I didn't know.
All you gotta
I
do is
didn't know
read it.
that this content was online, and we found out that the meeting was changed when Mr. Thompson came to our meeting. That's how I understood it. But we can check it in the future, but even in coming in here, it needs to be part of the agenda.
Okay.
Like it always has been, right?
Any
Do we have a
additional
motion?
comment?
We don't-
Did we receive the motion? Not a motion yet. At this point, I entertain a motion if that's the desire of the commission.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2022-02.
Does that include the with tickets, 10%?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
Second it.
It's been moved by Vice Mayor Boland and properly second by Commissioner Gonzalez for the adoption of Resolution 2022-02. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Boland,
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez,
Yes.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Mayor Bab,
No. Motion passed by 4-1 vote. And we'll move to other agenda items. We already done the presentation of the class of 2022 proclamations. Now we're at the city manager report.
Yes, sir. Tuesday, the 4th, I met with FDOT, Rosso, which is our major contractor for Barfield and Momentum. There was a few change orders, has to do with stormwater. But as of today, the project is on time. They just finished the waterway bridge. That was a significant portion of the job, and working on curbs and sidewalks up to the hardware store, and soon will come sidewalks on both sides. The contractor, actually the engineer, told me that he's been around for 30 years, and this is the first total reconstruction of a road that he's known of since he's been here. So it's going to be a significant change through that neighborhood. It's going to really increase the property values, whoever lives up and down that road, and hopefully be able to draw some commercial business in once that road is finished. It's a 395-day project, so it is going to be some bumps in the road, some inconveniences for people, but it'll be well worth it when it's finished. Met with our engineering firm, WGI, today regarding Phase 4, getting that going. The design part of McClure that's needed, well, y'all from here, you know how bad McClure is needed. And the demolition for the Solid Waste Authority grant of $80,000 to get that started. We will have another meeting in about a week with FDOT to inform them and update them on our projects and how they're going. I'm still negotiating with FDEP, see if we can't get an extension, or actually it's too late for an extension, a new agreement for the outlaying $635,000 we lost on East Lake project. I'm hopeful we can get that and have something to vote on in the near future. I want to go over a little bit about our legislative request.
Before you go to that point, how do we lose the $360,000?
Because the previous staff before me didn't pay their bills.
You're going to continue to put it on the previous staff?
It's a fact.
Donald Trump.
If you'd like to come to my office and talk about it. I can explain to you.
Did they quit or they stopped prior to you being on board?
The contractor came on, they came on board, they did $92,000 worth of work. The engineer was paid 2 payments, the contractors paid 1 payment. They did an additional roundabout number, $100,000 worth of work. They had no payment, no contact, no communication with the city. DEP lost communication with the city, failed to return phone calls, failed to return emails. This is
My question is, did they stop work for non-payment
Yes.
prior to you being the city manager?
Yes.
What month was that? What date?
About a month after it got started. I've spoken to
A month after?
I've spoken to the contractor. I've spoken to the engineer. The engineer wasn't paid his last payment of $15,000. We still owe him $15,000. And by the way, we still owe him $2,500 for the demolition of the hospital that he was not paid for. So when I contacted FDEP, they were as happy to hear from me as I was talking to them, because there was a history of non-communication with the city of Pahokee, and that goes with FDOT, every state agency there is. We have a bad reputation of non-communication and non-payment, and that's a fact.
Not true.
That project was underway when you became the city manager? When
No,
you
sir.
had, no?
Nope.
Okay.
Remember, in March, let's back up. In March, some of this commission had motion not to pay, stop paying over, I think it's $5,000 or $10,000 till they came to the commission. That was voted on from 3 commissioners on the seat. So from March up until Mr. Lucas got here, there was no bills paid at that time until they had brought a list. I know when Mr. Johnson Adams was here, she brought a list of bills that could not have been paid because they was over the amount that the commission had agreed not to pay. So that from March on, there was very limited staff and a lot of turmoil happening in the city hall. It's not because the bills wasn't getting paid, because they were out. You making it say it's like they were just not being paid. There were no staff there at one point paying the bills. We had one person in the economic development department left. We had a couple, a lot of the Johnson Adams was doing the economic development and plus she also was doing the interim city manager position. So there is not, I wish we could stop trying to make and point fingers that this was going on, because prior, if you back it up there was projects that was going on, and it was actually moving really pretty smoothly. And until around about April of this year is when everything really started going downhill. Not because it was just being neglected, but because it was a lot of, we had a change of hands in a lot of different departments. So a lot of, and I believe we had a new IT. I guarantee you, if there was a way that you could look at some of the old emails and stuff coming in, I've spoken to some of those contractors that did send information to the city, but didn't get any feedback because there was no one there. There was no one there to answer the emails. There was no one there to answer the calls. So it was from April up until probably around June, July, August. It was a lot of turmoil going on in there. So it's a lot of stuff got to stop. But I think we need to stop that, because you're there now. So whatever happens, even if you weren't there, even whoever was there would have to take from where it stopped at. So the thing is just get it on track and just move it forward. But to try to say that this, and honestly, Mr. Thompson, let me say this. We had very good relationship at the state. So to say that it was for years they called and nothing was paid, that's actually wasn't, it's not true.
I didn't say years.
But let me just finish, please. But for you being in the seat, you're the CEO now of the city. Whether you're there or if you're gone or whatever, whoever comes on will have to take it on from where you leave off at. If you was to walk out here today, someone would come in there and say, oh, this wasn't done, or this wasn't, not that you wasn't getting to doing it, but it just, you're gone. So let's move on. Let's move the projects on. If we're gonna move it on, move it on. We can't talk one way one day and say that we're gonna move it on, and then we come in here and try to do another.
I agree with you.
If we're gonna move it on, move it on.
I agree with you, Commissioner, but I was answering the mayor's question.
Well, because I believe I've spoken to a lot of those contractors, and yeah, some of them, they haven't got paid.
Yeah,
There was no one in answer right now.
Just for clarification though, Commissioner Urban, I was asking whether or not the work had stopped, the contract that walked off the job prior to Mr. Thompson coming on the city manager. I thought when he was on board, that contractor was still on the job working. If so, that means he as a city manager who could write the checks now, who has authorization from the majority to do so, should have been able to write the checks to make sure that that project continued on. But what he's saying, prior to him coming on as city manager, it had stopped it and halted it. Is that your understanding also?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And
I just wanted to be clear.
And also with that being said with that being said, if the money we have lost it, then we might have, because there's a lot of projects that was out on the table. We have a scheduled line of projects that should have been out on the road by now. They have been started. There's a lot of stuff hasn't been started. The McClure project has not been started, even though that half of that should have been at least and I spoke with you about it, where we at even with that project, because I know that project you couldn't really get started in 2022, but you can at least had in line for the engineer of that project. The demolition have not even been done. The phase 4 project has not been done. There's a lot of things that was actually from April to that was on the books, had dates to be started. So by the turmoil that's been happening and been going on, some things has been missed out on. So we might end up losing it, but if we can get it, you're there now. Make the phone call. That's your job now. Make the phone call and get it if we can get it.
All those projects you named were on its deathbed when I got here. And I'll say we as a commission has breathed life back in all those except for one, and I'm working on that. So we are moving forward.
That's your job, exactly.
But when I'm asking questions, I'm asking it truthful. I'm not pointing fingers, but facts are facts, and we're fixing it.
Yeah, because I can say they were stopped from April, and they were stopped on it. I spoke with the contractor, and it wasn't because they walked off of it. It was because he said, "Murphy, I had nobody to talk to. There was nobody there. They were talking to Miss Adams. She's not there. Y'all let her go," which was a great piece to the city of Pahokee with those projects. Yeah, I think if she would have still been here, those projects would have been on the road.
Go ahead and talk. Go ahead, Commissioner Perez.
Okay, I hear this talk about we were going through turmoil, we were understaffed, we did not approve over $10,000. How in the heck did the check for $67,000 got issued to Sandra Williamson?
Amen.
Good point.
Left, and no one knew that they had left. I'm the one that told Greg that he needed to go by there, that the people had left. They left, they abandoned the site, they abandoned the job. And that was prior to him becoming a city manager. It's really good to point fingers now at the now administration that came in, had to deal with all this stuff and trying to pull forward. When all these years, all these projects had either come to the last bit, where I remember that the manager had to come in front of the commission and ask, for him to be able to handle the job, because it was too late to bid it, or else you were going to lose it. That happened, several bids that went out. So the job now, in trying to make last administration look like flowers, and point your finger at the one that had to come in and clean up all the poo-poo that we have left behind. So stop taking the time in the commission and going over and over and over trying to excuse the mismanagement that happened in project. What we need to do is focus on going forward and stop this.
That's what we've been trying to do for the longest.
That's my opinion. And whoever wants to think that I'm aggressive, so leave, be it. We're here to resolve the problems. We have to keep looking back, because if We've been doing it for the past 20 years. It's insanity to think that anything is going to change in the city. So stop the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. We all want the same thing. Let's move forward. Is that what you really want? Then move forward. Stop pointing fingers, blaming people, coming with all this crap. The truth of the matter is, I've been there almost 9 months and haven't been able to do crap, except for try to clean up the corruption. Because there's one lawsuit, another lawsuit, and this allegation and that allegation. I'm tired of it. I don't dwell in none of that crap because to me, it's only a distraction. I am focused on what I want to do, what I want to see happen in the city. And I advise that all of y'all do the same thing.
Thank you. City Manager.
These projects we're talking about is some that's here nor there, has stumbled along the way, but I think we did a really good job at getting these back going. We have one lingering out there, and I'm hopeful we'll be able to get a new agreement for that. I'd like to talk about the new things we're going to ask for the city.
Which, if you wouldn't mind, which one is lingering that you hopefully to get?
The East Lake. The East Lake.
Okay.
Get back going. I was hoping to have something today we could add to the agenda to vote on, but I haven't received anything
and
back
the
from
demolition
FDP.
at the Commissioner Park, that property next adjacent to it, that's back on?
Yes, I got a 90-day extension on that. That was expiring December 31st, and they were gracious enough to give us a 90-day extension on that, so that's a go. I talked with WGI about it today, getting that bid out and done. It's a pretty simple job, but we need to get it done, get out of the way so we can move on with plans with that piece of property. And myself are going to Tallahassee tomorrow. We are going for Palm Beach County Days, but we're also going to meet with our representatives to go there and ask what the citizens of Pahokee deserves. And first on our agenda is some $2 million for improvement of the marina and campground, $400,000 for stormwater improvements on East Main. It floods pretty regular. That's something in the past the city's requested and it's been denied, so we're going to try it again this year. MLK, that was another grant and project that was expiring that we got an extension on and was able to get it back on its feet and going. And one thing we've requested is a phase 2 for that project. $250,000 was the original grant. You really can't do a whole lot nowadays with $250,000. Sounds like a lot of money, but it just isn't. So we chose to build a pavilion, a nice big pavilion, and that's going to take up most of that money. The city has a $20,000 contribution with that, so we'll be a part of that financially. And what we're asking when we go back is an additional $300,000 so we can make that facility as nice as we can, build out exercise equipment or whatever the commission sees fit. The building that's going up with the first initial grant, I believe it's 60 by 100. It'd be the biggest one, I think, around the lake. It'd be something for the community, have a place to come together and have festivals, have music events, you name it. Be a central point for the city to meet. And that's why we're going back, starting a phase 2 and ask for some money so we can put bathrooms, a stage we can use it for music events, just different things to get the community involved and get some economic development in this city. And that's what we'll be going for the next couple of days, working together, one voice, going to Tallahassee and asking our representatives what the citizens deserve here. So be assured, they go back and forth here, but we're going to work together to get this done.
Could I ask about the status of our monthly financial reports that we somehow don't receive anymore? It used to be customarily that we receive at least a monthly report and preferably a verbal report on a quarterly basis, but I don't know if we got staff or what's happening there.
We don't have the staff to take care of that. We have one lady doing 3 positions, but in the future, as we staff up, that'd be an absolute. I look for a quarterly business meeting to talk over more in detail about our expenses and more in depth, and that should be done absolutely quarterly, a more in-depth meeting discussing the finances, where we're at and where we're going. I don't want to get to the end of the year and have cutbacks. We can do it. If we need to, we can do it gradually instead of at the very end of the year. We don't want to run into a unbalanced budget. But I completely agree with you, and we'll be moving on to that in the future.
Okay. And lastly, the status of the audit for 2019, 2020. I received a certified letter from the Joint Legislative Auditing Committee saying that our funds would actually be withhold until this audit is complete. I remember we talked about this, and you say it was on target of getting completed.
Our consultant is working on that with us. You know, they sent that originally, and I sent out another letter. They originally sent that to us, I think, in September. We approached the auditor because they had left because of state of emergency. They were in the middle of their audit. They stopped because of what was going on. And we told them, you know, we need them to come back and get started so they can finish this audit. And when could they assure us that they would be finished with their audit? And they told us December 5th. So I wrote a letter to the state stating so it would be finished by December 5th. Well, our auditor evidently didn't get started on it until after December 5th. He made some demands requesting some material. Finance supplied it. We had communications back and forth. He said he didn't get it, and he got it. Long story short, they have not finished it yet. We've been trying to work with them, get them to come in and get this done, because it was done and it was due, I believe, in August. Well, we don't want to continue this trend. We want our audits done in a timely manner. So we're having some difficulties with our auditor, but we will get this done.
Go ahead, Commissioner Perez.
Mr. Thompson, what the finance, the lady doing the finance, that's on a contracted basis?
Yes.
How much are we paying her? Is that by a set fee? Is that by the hour? Is that by the day? How are the fees being paid?
It varies on the work she performs. It's not a set amount. So through audit time, she may be.
Okay. First I heard that everything was done up to July, I believe it was. So from July to December, it's taken how many months to finish the month so that the audit could be conducted?
Too many.
Exactly my point. Are we supervising this work? Are we making sure that the time being spent is adequate? Are we making sure that our money is being going right? I mean, I want to make sure that our money is not being milked.
Let me get
This is taking longer than it needs to be.
Let me clarify.
It shouldn't take this long when you got somebody that's just working on this one project.
Let me clarify. Our consultant does not do the audit. She is there.
I understand that. Her husband does.
No, her husband doesn't. No, it's an auditing firm, and they are performing our audit. And we are holding their feet to the fire and pressuring them as much as possible to get this finished. It needs to be finished soon.
Is the auditing firm the same auditing firm that has been there?
Yes.
Okay, then I know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Thompson, could I ask you a question? If we incur any kind of penalties or fees for not having this done on time, is there a possibility to collect those from the auditing firm who told us they would have it done and have not done it?
I think that'd be a question for council.
Don't know the answer to that question without looking at their contract.
Okay. I think if not, then we need to positively, the next time we hire an auditing firm, if they give us a date and they don't get it done, and then we incur any fees or penalties, they should pay them.
In the future, hopefully, we won't have any problems with it being late at all. There's some difficulties the last year, worked through it. It was disappointing when we contacted the auditing firm that they haven't even started, and they said they'd be finished by the 5th. So when we called to get an update, they hadn't even started.
And have we contacted the state to let them know what the new time frame would be?
Yes.
Yes, sir. And what is that new time frame?
by the end of this month.
Okay, thank you.
My last question, the status of staffing, finance director, economic and community development director, understand, and I didn't hear directly from a person who got interviewed, but I did hear that one of the candidates that previously had worked for the city had 3 questions asked of her. I'm just wondering, I mean, I'm not sure what kind of interview that was, but
Me neither.
I think you was on the interview.
If there was an interview, I definitely was there, but I'm sure it wasn't 3 questions. I have 2 other staff in there with me that can tell you. But the status of the interviews is we've conducted approximately 8 interviews for the various positions. We have multiple applicants. Christmas, the holidays kind of put a pause in all that. Next week, we're going to continue doing interviews. I think it's important to get the right person versus to get a person. I'm not a micromanager. I want to hire skilled employees, so when you give them a task to do, you can get out of their way and let them do it. I don't want to get in the sequence of hiring and you don't hire the right person and you have to do what you have to do. So we're very cautious. We want to hire the right people for these positions, and there is a sense of urgency to get those spots filled, specifically for the economic development director and the finance director. But it is an ongoing process, and we're going to start it again next week when we get back.
Okay, that's the main 2, but is there anyone underneath that we need to be aware that we're looking also for this position? I know finance director, and I know economic and community development director. Who's the other top 3 tier employment?
Building and zoning, and a clerk and an assistant. And it's Palm Beach County League of Cities is posted, Florida League of Cities is posted, our website is posted, it's posted on Indeed. So it's out there. These jobs are very competitive. Right now, everybody's competing for employees, but specifically municipal employees. There's cities that's poaching employees all the time. When you go to training, they're not just training, they're out there trying to pick off your employees to come hire for them, so it's very competitive. It's more difficult now than ever. But we can do it, and we're going to get there. It's just a process.
I have a comment or question. And again, we want to make sure that we put the correct information on our record and on our file, that even when they talk about, when you don't have a finance director, a lot of your stuff is going to end up is going to stop. That's one of your key components to your city. You had a finance director that is no longer here. So that also, and I remember the auditor, they said he had no one to communicate with. There was no one here. So it stopped. So a lot of stuff stopped, even prior to you coming here.
He told us it was because of the state of emergency. They left. They were on site.
I remember that it stopped because he had no one to communicate with. You didn't have a finance director. Some of the documents that he needed, there was no one there at the time to supply those documents. It was late once. That's because I remember the J letter came. I remember the letter came from the state. I remember that letter. And when I got that letter, believe it or not, I called the auditor myself when I saw the letter. I think you posted, or either Lucas, someone, I'm not sure when that time frame that letter was posted.
I think Mr. Lucas got one, and later on I got one, because I think he negotiated till August.
Yeah, and he did, and it was till August on that, and then something happened, then he left, and then it stopped. So it was a lot of this stuff is going on because a lot of your city employees have either fired or resigned their position. So that's why a lot of this stuff is. But now, so we have someone there, I still don't think it's an excuse. You have to have a finance to run your department. If you don't have finance, I don't know how the city actually even run without a real finance director. You know, that's what they talked about audit. I think we do need to do a forensic audit on everything, every account,
That's That will be happening by the end of this month.
That's a good thing. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. That's a good thing.
But that's outside of our audit. That's the.
Yes, exactly. And again, and I'm agree with the mayor. I know me and you have discussed, because I know I've asked for documents since about a month ago of every account, every accounts payable, every accounts receivable, whether it be the American Rescue Plan funds, the surtax dollars, every account that the city of Pahokee has money. I asked for a copy of those. So I hope I'll be getting those real soon.
I have them for you. I have to redact the account numbers before we can give them out.
Thank you.
But, you know, all this discussion, it just shows you how much we've been able to accomplish in the last just few months. We've got a lot of these projects that were dead in the water, and we've got them back going, and we can move on to going to Tallahassee and ask for these new ones.
That concludes your report.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And we move to the city attorney report.
No reports, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Now, we don't have any old business. On the new business, we have the recall election status. This was something I think the public need to have some information on. We have a city attorney. I'm going to provide some information that I'm aware of, but I'm going to turn this portion over to the city attorney to at least give us an update of where we are on the recall election status.
Mr. Mayor, I believe you added this to the agenda tonight for your own personal and political reasons.
Amen.
It's never wise to discuss litigation while it's pending in front of the court, and I will not do it tonight.
Okay.
And Mr. Mayor, if you do, I'm going to file charges that you are campaigning because you're using this as a campaign ploy, and you're
Okay.
campaigning in a city facility.
You,
So please be aware.
You're on record, and you have the camera to record every word I say. I think it's important to provide updates. This is a recall of Vice Mayor Regina Bolden.
I'm not going to sit in on this.
555 residents in this community is calling for the recall of her. They signed a petition, one that they took as a citizen approach to recall. There's a state statute. We have our city attorney that's been fighting to have this recall election stop, in which it was called by a chief judge for February the 1st, and he has entered into a lawsuit to stop this election, and we're waiting on a ruling from a lower court judge. Hopefully that lower court judge won't overrule what a chief judge have deemed as appropriate and should go forward. So we're just waiting on the status of that. Currently, the election is scheduled for February 1st, 2020, from 7 to 7 p.m.
I don't know, is it appropriate for me to say something or ask a question?
I would just make a I wouldn't at this point, because it's, you're a part of the recall committee, so we don't want to get into any murky waters. So I just wanted to make sure at least at a minimum we had a status, and you would think the city attorney who is hired to represent the city and the citizen would at least give some type of reports what he can provide.
I don't want to talk on the recall. I want to talk, make a statement about us.
We're gonna have to find a way to do that at comments or citizen comments. I don't want to have a citizen interject in regular meeting. Okay, but I am surprised that we have a commissioner walked out and the city attorney. So that's where we are for the recall status. The Centennial, we have taken care of that. Now we'll move to commissioner comments. And we'll start with Commissioner Mervin.
I just have a question, just going about what you said. I just have a question to ask the city attorney on that. Where did the permission come from to file a lawsuit from on behalf of the city? Where did that come from? I know we did have a meeting. This is our first meeting. So I'm asking, who gave that authority to the city attorney to file a lawsuit on the recall committee? Where did that come from?
I don't have any knowledge of that, Commissioner.
Okay, so I know you and I talked.
Permission or not permission, I don't.
Right, so just for clarity, for the city attorney to even file a lawsuit, that had to come from the agreement of the commission. So I don't know, I wasn't in a meeting to give that or see where it's even brought up in a commission meeting. So my question is, even to him, to who gave him that authority to go forth and put a lawsuit against the recall committee? Because by knowing he can't not even just go out and just do something on his own without the authority from the commission. So to see how did that come about?
I have no knowledge about that either, Commissioner.
So did any commission, did you know anything about I didn't know anything about it till late, about the lawsuit on the recall committee. When did you, and I'm just asking a question, when did the commission find out that there was a lawsuit on the recall committee? Do you know one?
You looking at him or you looking at me?
I'm you.
I see you looking over there.
I'm
That's
sorry.
why.
I'm sorry.
Honestly, I'm reading up on it because I found out when you found out. So I'm trying to see what the legal part of it is.
So you were not in a meeting that gave a permission for the attorney to send forth to put out a lawsuit on the recall committee?
Not that I'm aware that we had up here yet. I don't know.
Okay. Vice Mayor Bolden, were you in a meeting that?
I told you, I'm not going to discuss the recall.
I'm not asking you to discuss the case.
And
I'm
not
asking you
gonna
to give the
discuss
authority
it.
of
No
the.
comment. Thank you.
Okay. So, Mayor, I think we need to find out what we could do as far as a commission as the city attorney, because to me, he went outside his boundaries, out his line, to just go out and put forth a lawsuit without the authority of the commission. Because he cannot do that. That has to come from the commission. So something needs to be done about that. That's my comment, Mayor.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Bolden, any comments?
First, I want to say thank you so much to everyone who participated in the Christmas parade. I thought that we had a very nice parade. I'm looking forward to the MLK parade so that we can all participate in that again. And as we discussed earlier, I believe that the Christmas tree event turned out to be something very good for this community because it really did pull the community together. And thank you to everyone who came out and participated in that because it was beautiful when they got it all done. It was probably prettier than we would have done if the city had done it. So, and it meant so much to everyone to know that the community had done it. I want to say that I walked out of here a few minutes ago because I refuse to set in on something that's illegal. And I will not answer any questions about that because it is not to be discussed until it is settled. It is not settled. And I will file charges tomorrow morning against the mayor for discussing that at this point and using it as a campaign ploy, which we all know that's what it was. So thank you very much. Have a good evening.
I'd like to address that concern, Commission. After the recall committee had actually made it progress to recall her, so she wasn't an opponent of mine then. I'm representing the citizens who overwhelmingly is asking for her recall.
And that's what the
And
election will
it's no personal
determine.
gain to me at all. And the citizens should have their voice to speak. And if she haven't did anything innocent, then she would have her day at the election box. That's all I can say on that.
That's all I'm asking for is the election.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Actually, there's a couple of things. I'm going to try to keep them short. I did some research on the property of East Lake, where East Lake School used to be at, and I don't know the time frame, but I got in touch with the owner, the main owner of the property. It was to his surprise that the property is up for sale on RE/MAX. He told me that he did not even know it was up for sale. Now, my question is, how can you own property, you have it listed for $4 million on RE/MAX and not know about it?
You can't.
So I called the guy who was up here that represented him. He told me he was not aware that it was also up for sale. And the guy, I think his name is Jonathan, he never called me. I finally got in touch with him about 2 weeks ago. And he says it is up for sale. And that the owner knows it's up for sale. But at first, 2 or 3 different times, I even sent them a screenshot of that property that's for sale. Now, my question is, did anybody know that this guy was just gonna come up here and ask for the rezoning so they could flip it and lie to the community saying we're gonna have affordable housing? Because according to him, as of 2 weeks ago, with Jonathan, that is, there's not gonna be any affordable housing. Now, my question is there a way we can reverse that? Because it's not fair for outsiders to come into our city, represent affordable housing for the community by this time and not do it and flip the land for $4 million and make a profit. Now, I would like to know who's all involved in it. Because obviously the owner himself didn't even know it was for sale. How could you own property, not know it's up for sale? I have a problem with that. The community's gonna have a problem with that. There's nothing but broken promises up to this date. There's no affordable housing. The land hasn't even been broken. When are we gonna have affordable housing? Jonathan's excuse is he has 4 years experience and that's not the way things work. And the main owner has over 40 years experience. And according to him, it just doesn't work that easy to get affordable housing. They have to sell the land first to get an investor to put affordable housing. Now, you're the owner, you send people to represent you and say, we need this rezone so we can add additional affordable housing to help out the community, correct? So why lie to the community when your intentions were to never bring in affordable housing and you just want to profit off of our city?
I think that's just a fancy way of saying we're buying and flipping it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this isn't hearsay. This isn't rumor.
remember-
This is me actual conversations with all 3 guys.
I understand your concern and your question, Commissioner Gonzalez, but I basically disagree. I think the primary reason that Sky probably left for trying to flip it is because of the hardline questioning he received at that meeting.
Within a month and a half,
But
they
I'm
had
just
it up for
saying,
sale.
look at that meeting. This guy was actually ran out of town from the questioning he was
No,
given.
he
guy-
was
the
not.
owner
He
himself
definitely
told-
was not. I'm not
The
going to sit here
owner.
and let you say that because
Yes.
I asked the hard questions to find out what they actually were looking to build there. And you kept shutting me down saying, you're just trying to run them off. No, I was trying to vet them to make sure they were real.
my
And
concern
what
is-
happened? They weren't.
You
Here's the
ran that
thing.
guy off.
Here's
I
the
was
thing.
exactly
How,
right.
if she ran the guy off, why did the main owner himself
Nobody
told
runs a
me-
real
Hold
person
on.
off.
Excuse me, Mr. Vice Mayor.
Sorry.
Okay, let's say for example, she ran the guy off. How come the main owner didn't even know it was up for sale? Explain that to me. You would think he would have been the main one to know he had it up for sale.
One, don't believe all that, because I called them same
No,
people.
I called him myself.
too.
I called him myself.
called them too.
I called all 3 of them. And
I
Jon-
called them.
and I told Jonathan I would like for him to come to one of the meetings. I still haven't had an answer to that. And the
Commissioner,
other guy
Let's see
that
if
came
we
here
can
to
get him-
represent
Let's see
him,
if
to
we can
come
get
here.
him to a meeting, if we can.
Hey, Commissioner,
Yeah.
what should have happened, what will happen moving forward is when you change zoning to housing or whatever the purpose is going to be, you put it in a contract that if they don't break ground by this date, it reverts back to the prior zoning. So you have to take a
Exactly.
person's word that they're going to follow through. You put it in writing as if you would any other business deal. So a person can't take a $100,000 piece of property and turn it into a $4 million piece of property like they have been able to do. I don't know if there's any fixing it.
Now, can we look
To be
into it?
clear, the majority of the zoning was already done. It was just a small partial
Yeah, the
of
small
that
portion.
property. What they wanted to
Right.
do is confirm it to the regular zoning they had. So even if that wasn't done, it would have eliminated them from building X number of houses or units on there, but it wouldn't have probably stopped that whole process. All I'm saying, the public need to look at that tape of that meeting and
Yes,
just
they
ask
should.
yourself
I agree totally.
whether you are
Yes.
pro-business or you are anti-business, and it seems
Or whether
like
you're trying to
this
vet it
commission
so that the
was
actual,
anti-business.
we get what we
Long-
actually are supposed
long
to get.
story- long
Or we
story-
get what we always get when you're there.
Long story short
Promises
is, there's not going to
and
be no
nothing.
affordable housing. We're
Again.
flipping the land. That's a fact you cannot deny. The owner himself told me he was surprised that it is up for sale.
Well, there is a Okios project coming in
What?
on Barfield. There is that housing.
Yeah, at the old hospital.
And we even
It'll be
had
nice to have
some
affordable
conversation
housing.
against that at one point.
Again, trying to vet to
But
make
I-
sure we got what we were supposed to get.
I would like for the citizens to get together and come here and demand affordable housing with that contractor or that guy who bought that property. It's not fair to them. They deserve it. And they need to be heard. None of these shady deals that they're just gonna come into our city, which we call home, and they take advantage of us so that they can make a profit. No more waiting around. We need affordable housing. And those of you who are here right now know we do need affordable housing. But we should be standing up for the people instead of siding with these people to come here and make a profit off of us.
Exactly.
Well, one, the thing about when they came here, it wasn't no, I called. It was not the same say, yes, I knew it, then I didn't know, oh, let me take it off. So don't believe everything that they're telling you to.
How could
Because
I-
one, I'm just saying, wait a minute, one is saying one thing and one is saying they did not know. Then you call this one is, oh yeah, but I'm gonna go ahead and take it on off now. So I call the same people, but I'm telling you, but from them talking to one of them, and they didn't want one or two or three commissioners. They looking for a partnership with the city. From how that meeting went, and it is true, they decided not actually really to build the housing.
Can you tell them what time frame was from the time?
They didn't
we-
put a time
we
frame
changed it?
on.
No,
But
no.
they
My
did
question
put-
is, when we last, voted on changing that, to rezone that small portion of property to add more affordable housing, from that day on, that it's been approved to the time to where they flipped it, what was it, about a month and a half?
Exactly.
About a month and a half, they decided not to build. They flipped it to sell. There's no way in the world you're gonna wait a month and a half to say, okay, we decided we're not gonna build nothing. What we got, what we needed, let's just go ahead and flip it. It's in plain view. These are facts.
Yes.
These are facts. They can
Yes.
go back and look at the videos where they're gonna bring affordable housing. Where are they at? Nowhere to be found.
Listen closer to that tape.
Listen, please, everybody on the audience, please listen to that
Okay,
tape
listen
where
to all
I
those
tried to make
questions.
sure we were going to get the housing we were supposed to get. Did we get it? No, we did not.
My feeling was
voted no
they were
on it
gonna
anyway,
leave.
Regina. You voted no on the housing. So
And then I voted yes.
After that
No.
questioning,
After I asked
my
a bunch of
feeling
questions,
was
you
those
still
people
voted
were
no.
gonna leave. You don't want to deal with a commission like that.
You
When I
still
say
voted
commission, I'm talking about as a whole, someone
No.
who's trying to bring affordable housing, and you got somebody like, you
Somebody
on
like
trial
what?
for.
Like what? Like what, Mr. Mayor?
It's time, Jordan.
Hard line, not showing an
Yes, somebody who's
open
going to defend
attitude.
this city and the citizens that are in it,
Affordable
to
housing.
make
All they
sure.
was asking for was a rezoning of a small portion of their property.
Okay, as a
And you
commission-
And they
drilled
got
them-
it.
Okay, as a
They
commission.
got it. So
Look at-
what was the problem then?
As a
They
commission.
left. That should tell you what the
Yeah,
problem
that
was.
should tell you.
Excuse me.
That should definitely
Both of
tell
y'all
you.
stop that arguing.
Let's-
Can we,
let's-
as a commission, get together and try to figure out a way to flip it back to its original stance in zoning? Because we need serious people to invest in our city for affordable housing.
And we
will-
need to vet them before
that's
we
their problem.
do
That's their
any
problem.
No,
more
there's
rezoning.
laws, there's laws.
Wait, there is, and I'm gonna, I'm not an attorney, and our attorney isn't here. But there are tools in place to revert that back. But when you decrease the value to a corporation, you definitely open yourself up to a lawsuit for them to recoup those losses from the city. And I believe we would lose.
Okay. Commissioner Perez.
She gone.
Okay. My last word, our city attorney walked out of this meeting. He done did that twice. I'll make a motion, and he have put us in a lawsuit that was unauthorized, at least by a majority of the commission, that we terminate him immediately. That's my motion before the adjournment of this meeting.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion by the mayor and properly second by Commissioner Mervin for the immediate termination of our city attorney for 1, walking out of the meeting, 2, authorizing or putting forth a unauthorized lawsuit and putting the city in financial jeopardy. Call for questions. Hearing none, are you ready for a vote? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Mervin,
Yes.
Mayor Bab,
Yes.
Commissioner, Vice Mayor Boland,
No.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
No.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.